Hello YouTubers, here's another cheap redneck project that we just couldn't pass up. We found this kid's ATV on Craigslist for $45, and as you can see, previous owner stole a whole bunch of parts off of it, so our goal is to put her back on the road. This rolling chassis got a lot of potential and will make an awesome little quad. It's much smaller than some of the go-karts out there and not as heavy. I will speed up my video to show you the entire build from start to finish. If you want to see this thing in action, then fast forward the video to 9.5 minute mark. So let's take it to our chop shop and fix her up real good. First, we are going to disassemble the quad in order to modify the frame. We are taking plastic fenders off, as well as handlebars and gas tank. This thing's got a solid frame to handle kids as well as adults. Suspension will definitely make a difference on bumpy roads. ATV was missing a front bumper, so we are making a Mad Max bumper that will also be used to pull it out of the mud, just in case if we ever get stuck. This thing ain't gonna be pretty, but it will serve its purpose. My son is using Rust-Oleum primer to protect it from rust. He loves to paint bumpers and I just can't figure out why. Original sprocket was much smaller, so we installed a 54 tooth rear sprocket. It will give us a better takeoff and acceleration. Original engine mounts were in the way, therefore we had to cut them off. They just had to go. I've used a 1/4 thick by 2 inches wide flat steel stock to make an engine base mount. Home Depot sells 10-foot tubing for around $12. It's great for any welding projects. I leveled my jack shaft hangers in place and tag welded them before making a final pass. Once you permanently weld your jack shaft, it's much harder to fix a mistake. I've learned a new trick to drill holes in steel. A little bit of oil will go a long way and will help you drill like a pro. Now it's time to paint the frame to make it look half decent, as well as to protect it from the elements. And off we go to Harbor Freight store to get our engine. For around $100, they are affordable and for the most part reliable engines. Be sure to follow instructions before firing up your motor. Fill it up with oil to proper level and make sure you don't overfill it. It takes about 18 ounces to fill up this engine. This brand new box of number 40 chain was around 20 bucks. Okay, this is going to be my modified exhaust. I'm going to weld this part and I'm just going to make it longer. Okay, this is the finished exhaust. Got my crappy welds. Rust-Oleum high heat paint works great on exhaust pipes and mufflers, which can also be found at Home Depot or any automotive parts store. In order to finish this project, I still have to make a seat for it. We are not here to win any contests, and with that in mind, any functional seat will do. Since this project is built on a budget, we used the foam out of old pillow that no one ever uses anymore. This leather jacket was $6 at our local garage sale. That's cheaper than any new vinyl at any fabric store out there. And we're just about done here. I'm gonna go over some of the things that I've done to it. Instead of buying a new headlight, I decided to just patch up that hole with galvanized sheet metal, and it can be found at Lowe's or Home Depot. My first attempt didn't go too well, but the second attempt came out much nicer. I've flipped the pull start on the motor to get better access. Here's my setup of my jack shaft. The jack shaft is 5/8. It's got a 3/16 keyway, and I've made a little groove for these C-clips to hold everything in place, or they're also known as retaining rings. That's a 10-tooth sprocket. That's a 41 chain, 10-tooth, 40 chain, and the back sprocket is 16-tooth. The seat came out uneven and lopsided, but it still works for us. We're going to be using it off-road, so it's all good. Here's the view of my exhaust pipe. I just used whatever I had. Instead of buying exhaust pipe, I just cut this one up, welded it sideways so it wouldn't rub on the tire, and it works. And here's my view of the swing arm. And here's the view on this side. Originally, this 10-tooth sprocket was supposed to go right behind the driven pulley where that little bushing is right there, but I just decided to make it this way just to try something different. So let's go take this thing for a ride.